A lot of things have been said about using AI in large processes of large companies. Now let's talk about end users and how it affects end users. The AI director of Tinkoff, Viktor Tarnavsky, is going to talk about that. Large language models transforming end user digital products experience. Anyway, Viktor Tarnavsky, I'm from Tinkoff, and today I would like to talk about large language models, LLMs, and how they affect the end user experience. I understand that it doesn't sound that great, but I'll explain. Now, there was a fantastic report this year from McKinsey about generative AI and about the influence of generative AI on the economy, on the global economy. And this is a fantastic report. It tells you about the following. Before that, the impact on AI was 15–40% of the global GDP. That's quite a lot in terms of incremental economic impact. But starting from this year, and after the last year, the generative AI models were launched, has become obvious that this impact has become much better. And McKinsey assesses this impact 35–70% more than it was before. And that sounds great. But the question is, how do end users see this fantastic impact? And there's no simple answer like that because, well, you understand it about businesses, you understand how to make fantastic tools for professionals. We've talked about that a lot, the copy-lock concept and other things, but how do people see the effects of LLM implementation? This is what I was interested in. If you look at it from the point of view of technologies and what they deliver after being implemented, the contribution of technologies can be divided in three categories. The first one, that it is cheaper. You have a process in a company that you can make efficient, which means that for the users, for the end user, some product will be cheaper. Second part are new services. The new services, people understand that they exist, but they did not exist before, and now this model is being scaled for the entire market, and people receive new services that was non-existent. And the third part is some totally new experience that people didn't have before. And you could think about that in some fantastic book, but now you can say, well, wow, there is a new service, new experience, and it's fantastic. Mobile internet, that's a transforming technology, obviously, that has changed many things around us. Text messages, no one used that, but now they're free, but no one is using them anyway. Online shopping used to be before, you remember there was a TV shops and you could call the company and order a product. And now we are experiencing the e-commerce era because a mobile internet helped us to do that, to shop online using mobile devices and online dating. We couldn't even imagine that. And online dating with smart recommendations. We thought it was not possible, but now it transformed our society thanks to the new technology that entered our market. TikTok and the recommendations that we have, all our kids are using this TikTok, but it was a sci-fi just a few years ago. LLMs. With LLMs, we have to go through that same journey. Now, there are some answers already. As for the cheaper professional translation, now it can be used. LLMs reach the level of professional translators almost in all areas of translation. So people can now use professional translation services for free. Personal assistance, that's new services. This is not Alisa or Siri. but these are the ones that resolve your tasks, really resolve your tasks. And based on LLMs, you can create personal assistants that are scalable for everyone. I mean, obviously now it's not possible. Only the rich people can use that, can use the services of personal assistants, but now it will be democratized. As for the new experience, we don't know yet. As new technologies emerge, we do not know what can be delivered to the users. We think that we are innovators in terms of the user experience and in terms of the products for end users, and this is the topic we're most interested in. I'm going to show you a slide from a report. This is a report of a prompt for LLMs, a research paper. You know, there is a LLM, there is an order, and making the prompt more detailed. And one of the phrases that won was take a deep breath and work on this problem step by step. Well, we understand that the LLM, like any technology, cannot take a deep breath. You know, that's surreal, really. But if you put a command like that, the results will be much better. Why? Because LLMs are actually, it's a bridge between the world of people and how we think and talk with each other and the digital world populated by computers. And when you say such a absurd phrase like take a deep breath to the computer, it understands that because it speaks the human language. Because if you say that to a human, maybe the human will be able to resolve a task better if you say take a deep breath. Now, you need to look at the positive changes in user experience. You need to understand what can be done, and in LLMs it can talk with people with human language. Why is it important? The digital products that we use every day speak to us, but sometimes they use some other language, some button language, language of some other input fields, but you can't put in some natural language query in the input field. This is a screenshot from a very famous service. I do not want to criticize the service, but we all like them. But if you go to a marketplace and you want to buy something, this is what you have to go through all of this battery of filters that you have to go through to select the something that you need. A fantastic property, find in service. These are the filters. And the digital products that we use at People are very far away from what we have in our heads, because we want our queries not to be translated to the language of the products that we use. We want them to be delivered in natural language. So, how do you actually deliver that in LLMs? We can write a text phrase in terms of what we want. This is one of the text prompt that I used. It then asks what things have we forgot to put here. And then, after that, there is the response, like we're talking with a human. What are the properties that meet your request criteria? So you don't have all this work that is happening in your brain, because you just put your thoughts to the product and you receive the result. You get the result. Another example, I hope that you monitoring the progress here. That's the internet search. Internet search is going through a revolution. It's quite exciting to look at that. Internet search was like railroads, you know. nothing has happened there in the last decade. There were some links that you opened, the sites were opened, and that was it. But now there are some changes, because the current search does not understand our request very well. That's my Google search. I ask, at what time does NASDAQ works in Moscow town? That's an understandable question, but Google does not quite understand what I asked, actually. And it did what it could do. It took some part of the article from online that it thought was great and gave me the answer. The validation filters answered that that was a great answer, and that was the wrong result. And that was the result about Moscow Stock Exchange. This was not something I was interested in. Look at the search that uses LLMs and understands what I am asking about. The same request, LLM went to the websites, gathered the information, understood that no, I need NASDAQ time, and it translated the NASDAQ opening hours to Moscow time. And it's not just that case, I'm talking about. It's how you build new user products. These LLMs can deeply understand what you're talking about, what you're requesting, and that means that the digital products can be much closer to the human. You are thinking about something, you're writing it, inputting it in an input field, and the machine understands what you want. And that's very important for products that have very difficult interfaces. And that's the future. In Tinkoff, we think that we're innovators in terms of the client experience and building products. And we are actively thinking about the future that awaits us. And the implementation is another important thing, because implementation is a challenge. I'm going to quickly go through the model applications. If you are a company and you want to use LLMs, you know that the choice is hard. You have the following options. You have open source. It's working much worse than the paid models. That's understandable. You can start creating a proprietary solution. That's very complicated, lots of investments, and you don't know how to explain all these investments. If you want to copy ChatGPT, you will have to make the solution that will be very broad, very general purpose. So a lot of challenges there. Third option, you can use the ready-made decision that is available through API. All these API-based solutions are great. More and more of them appear. So you launch your solution, but there are some difficulties, some risks, actually. And, well, I think you know about these risks. There are risks related to personal data and, the laws on protecting personal data, information security. There were a lot of cases with OpenAI, by the way, when the request of one company was taken from the request from another company. So another company is making a request, and using an injector, you can get the request of the other company, and obviously that was a narrow design vulnerability. But that's a risk. That's a risk that is quite significant. Basically, you are giving the data to the third party. The third one, understandably, it's the training based on your data sets. Every company says that it does not use your personal data to train the data, but anyway, at some point in time, people understand that when the data are leaked, they understood that these data were actually used to train AI. Now, customizing based on customization. If you have a lot of terms, specific terms, LLMs are not that great. External ones, I mean, are not that great at talking and speaking the language of your business. Like, you have to put it all in the prompt. There are major limitations for the fine-tuning of the model, so it's a challenge. There is another problem. Not many people understand what this problem is about, but it's very interesting. This summer we saw a very interesting case with AI, OpenAI. In June, I think, people understood that GPT-4 and GPT 3.5 models started to give a totally different result. They have become better in some cases. On average, they become worse. Everyone in the world protested. They said that, well, you're doing something wrong. OpenAI said that, well, we understand that. We'll tweak it back. And it kind of worked. But the thing here is that AI is it does not have like a proper contract. You cannot just have a contract like it should be 0 here, it should be 1 here. So at some point, when a company decides to add some filters on the go, the model that you purchased might change. So this kind of a loose contract of LLMs. Because if you are going to base some core part of your business on LLM, you have to consider that. Now, these B2B solutions based on LLMs, some of these challenges can be addressed, some not. If you're a very large company, maybe you won't be able to use that. Maybe you'll have the compromise between these problems and inflexibility. And that's a hard choice. We as a company, Tinkoff, we have selected another way, and we think it's the right way to go. We build our own LLMs, and we build them from the scratch. We build foundational language models, and based on that, we build the models that resolve specific tasks. We're a company, we can do that. We're a big company, we can do that. We are participating in scientific activities. We have a lot of data and a lot of compute, and you should leverage that because not many companies can do that. But at the same time, we are different from Yandex and Sber. We are doing something else. We want to create fantastic products, to create a state-of-the-art products for retail and corporate customers, and we're focused on that. Specialized, that's the word that's very important. Our LLMs are tailored to our products. That means that if you focus on the task, you understand how to make our models better quality-wise. Why is it important? If you want to build ChatGPT and that's your task, the task is too general because you have to be able to pass the exams, and maybe you won't need that. Maybe you need some kind of broad AGI here. If you're making the LLM, specific LLM, specialized LLM, they will be better than ChatGPT in this specific domain. And this is an understandable task. We're going to focus on that. What does that mean? That means that, well, it's not a B2B solution because we're not going to launch our B2B solutions in LLM, based on LLM, but that means that Tinkoff is going to deliver the products and services based on LLM. We think that through the products and through the product value for end users and for the businesses, we are going to unlock the potential that we see in LLMs. That's it for me. Victor Tarnavsky. Again, I'm responsible for AI in Tinkoff. This is my Telegram channel. On the right-hand side, this is the QR code related to our AI news, because we're quite proud of our AI achievements, and I'm ready to answer your questions. Thank you. Thank you for that presentation. A couple of questions. So the first one, Victor, how do you think the problem of robustness of the answers of a LLM can be resolved? Well, it's a great question. I think if a company uses LLM, the right approach is to use testing, but testing not in the classical sense of the word, but like a specialized testing for the large language models. That means that you should take a set of queries you want to check and the validating answers, and then you can compare whether they comply with each other. You should look at the requests that are important for your business. And if you launch it on a constant basis, you need to make sure that the quality remains constant. Thank you. And what is the most popular technology that we're going to see in LLMs? Well, that's a great question. Everyone is waiting for the revolution in the architecture. And that's the kind of an average trend in the scientific communities, because people are saying transformers, wow, you need to, like the architecture. It hasn't happened yet. Maybe it will happen in the future. But using the LLMs, well, I think multimodality. So I didn't know what is a multimodal architecture. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for your presentation.